that you burned.
Now, I am Bryson Bonnette, and I'm from Tioga. So you are probably wondering one or two things right now. Why in the heck is he holding this book? And I know for dang sure he really didn't read that thing. Well, this is one of the very few books that I have read from cover to cover, and its title is called Make Your Bed. It is written by William H. McRevan, and he wrote it so that he could talk about his experience in the military and lessons that he learned during his time of service. One of them being make your bed. The importance of doing the small things right, but also thinking big. If I was able to finish this book, I highly recommend it. I get very distracted by pretty colors, shiny things, and the trucks that make really cool noises going down the road. Now, some of y'all may have read it before, I'm not sure. But if you have, you're probably thinking, I hope this country bumpkin ain't going to stand up here and talk about this book for 10 minutes. I'm not, school is out, it is summertime, we don't want to talk about books, and I'm not going to stand up here and butcher a book review in a country accent. Oh, I'm so sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that. That was a gift from one of my good friends, Levi. Now, Levi was an awesome human. He was tall, he was big. With that being said, he was humble, down to earth, and didn't hesitate to talk to anybody. Levi was a natural born leader within his church, our football team, and just the community. Levi gave me that book. I know I'm talking about the book again. He gave me that book for my 16th birthday. He said that his dad gave it to him, and he would appreciate if I took it because it gave him great motivation. And it was probably the same book because that's what I would have done. I would have just gave him the same gift. Y'all didn't see that. I would have just gave him the same gift. But I forgot to mention, Levi was huge. Like, this guy was an athletic beast. He was 6'4", 240 pounds, nothing but solid muscle. So when he gave me that book, I was thinking to myself, what if the secret to being swole is in that book? It obviously wasn't. You can vouch for that. But what I did find within that book was some lessons, but it wasn't the book that taught me those lessons. It was Levi. Now, me and Levi, I met him when I was in 5th grade. He was in 6th. It didn't matter if it was after school, on the weekend. We were always doing something. It didn't matter if we were either hunting, fishing, or swimming in sketchy bodies of water, doing things that my mom would not approve of. And I knew that he would be by my side no matter what. That was up until about my senior year of high school. See, Levi was a year older than me, like I mentioned before, and he was studying civil engineering at Louisiana Tech University. He was also playing football on a full-paid scholarship. Now, Levi also got in with the wrong crowd of people. People who prioritized partying and having a good time over things that really mattered. Levi was down the road of self-destruction. I never heard from him. I'd call, I'd text. He would never respond. Out of the blue, 2 weeks later, he would respond, hey, I'm just checking in on you, make sure everything's all right, but I'm super busy. I apologize. This hurt me. So I ran into one of his family members. I forgot where. Don't quote me on that. I forgot where, but I ran into one of his family members, and they told me that Levi had dropped out of school and he had given up his aspirations to play football. He couldn't get a job because of his newfound lifestyle. I was worried about my friend. So I decided to give him a call. He probably wasn't going to answer, but I was going to do it anyways. That's what friends are for. So I called him. And about the 5th ring, he picked up. And I was so excited. I started to tell him about everything I've been doing. I started to tell him how good it was just to hear his voice. Just for him to tell me, I'm sorry, Bryson. I'm busy right now. I was just making sure everything was all right. I was devastated. I went in my room, and my mom came home from work, and my mom can always tell when I'm upset. She has those spidey senses when it comes to her babies. But she could tell I was upset, and she sat down on the bed next to me, asked me what was wrong, so I gave her the story about Levi. She put her hand on my shoulder, and what she told me, I will never forget. She said, Bryson, we are who we hang around, and Levi is now someone he doesn't know. Levi, someone that I looked up to so much, was now a stranger, not only to his family, his friends, to himself. I think we can all say in this session hall, we have felt like Levi at times. I know I have gotten off the right path so many times. But that doesn't mean that we can't take a step back and get back on the right track. I know that if Levi ever wanted to come home to his family, his friends, and even something a little bit bigger than that, he'd be welcome with open arms. All right, on a lighter note, I grew up hunting. My family was always at the hunting lease. That surprises y'all, right? So at this hunting lease, we hunted in the evening time. So we'd climb down off the stand, and we would go back to the lease, and we would always sit around a fire. That's tradition. You have to do that. It didn't matter if it was 90 degrees outside. Me and my brothers were going to use the excuse that it was going to keep the skeeters away. We'd be sitting around that fire, sweating like a cold cup of Popeye's sweet tea, once again. And it wasn't just us. It was some older gentlemen who were in the hunting lease also, and they come sit around, and they talk about this hunting season, how it's changed since last year, but most importantly, they never failed to give advice to us kids. Now, one of these old-timers said something around this fire one night that just stuck with me. He said, it takes a village to raise a child. Now, I didn't really understand it at the time. Thought he was kind of crazy. He probably was. But now, I understand the meaning of that term. It's an old African proverb that means that an entire community must interact with children in order for those children to grow up in a safe and healthy environment. It became popular in Western culture about 20 years ago, and it's floated around ever since. See, the hunting lease was a great village for little Bryson. But I can't help to think, what about the kids who don't come from good villages? Who don't have the ideal family in their life? That don't have role models to look up to? What do they do? Now, this reminds me of another old boy I went to high school with, and his name was Alex. See, Alex didn't come from the ideal living situation. His mom struggled with drinking. His dad wasn't there. But this didn't stop Alex from finding his village. Alex was heavily involved within FFA, football, powerlifting, and his church. This kid would get on his bicycle and ride 30 minutes back and forth from school every day. And you better bet he was 30 minutes early to whatever he was doing. I forgot to mention, he also had a 4.0 GPA and didn't even have a computer at home to do his work on. Kind of flex with Alex right there. But see, Alex didn't become a product of his environment. He done this by going out and finding people for his village. Whether it was coaches, teachers that taught at Tioga High School, people within his church, just good people within his community. He went out and he looked up to them because he knew that he needed to pick up the habits of those people in order not to tarnish everything that made him such a good person. Alex is now 19 years old, has a full-time job, is attending trade school, and has a house and a car all on his own. And I have no doubt in my mind that Alex is going to be super successful, and he's going to build a great village for his family whenever he gets older. See, that book I threw over there, yeah, I'm still sorry about that. The reason he wrote that book was to talk about the importance of doing the small things right, picking up good habits. But the truth is, y'all, the people we put ourselves around can tarnish those habits and turn us into someone we don't want to be. So to anybody who is sitting in a session hall right now, watching from home, or may watch this speech in the future, that may not come from the ideal home life, that may struggle to find role models within their own life to look up to, I encourage you, go out and find a village that is going to help you stay on the right path of success. It doesn't matter if it's your ag teacher, the people within your FFA chapter, teachers at your school, your church, your community, just good people. Go out and look up to those people as role models and pick up their habits. I'm going to let y'all in a little bit of a secret. If you're sitting in this session hall right now and you're wearing a blue corduroy jacket that has the word Louisiana written on the back of it, you have the opportunity to be a part of an organization that has changed the lives of so many, including myself, that has had a positive impact of hundreds of thousands of people across the country. That organization is Louisiana FFA.
I'm just a traveling man, you see. Wherever this road goes is where I will be. Now catch me a ride on a boat to Spain. Tell a woman that I love her and forget her name. And I wish I could stay for midday coffee. And I just can't get this dreaming off me. If I could find me a place to rest my mind. But Mama always said you'll get there in good time. There's some headlights burning down the highway, and I think that I may just hitch me a ride. 'Cause I'm a traveling man by trade, sir. We're all running from the things inside. There's a train heading west to South Toledo, and if the dogs don't sell me a sleep, I'll go. Dreaming as I'm steaming past miles of ground, through the souls and hymnals that built these towns. I won't stay too long, leave too soon. Best time for going is when the going's scary.
Bryson, Bryson, Bryson. Thank you for being my bestie for the resty, my personal hype man, and one of the best all-around people that I know. Thank you for always taking the most ridiculous pictures with me in all the spontaneous moments. But most importantly, never stop growing in the moment. Love, Haley, Peyton, Parker, Emerson, Cecily, Cassidy, Abby, Kylie, and Kennedy. Louisiana FFA, for the final time, your Vice President, Bryson Bonnette.
And I think that I may just hitch me a ride.